Flash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
You're still watching Prime Morning, and of course the newspapers have a lot that they are reporting this morning. Today we'll also narrow it down to what's happening in Walewale, and of course the revocation of appointment by the Chief of Staff. Now, he did issue a communique last week that appointments made after the 7th of January 2025 were not going to hold anymore, and so anybody who had been appointed into office by the government, that's the NPP government, had to go home. Now, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association also issued a communique threatening that if it should affect them, they will go on strike. We'll delve into that. And we'll delve into Walewale, where 7 persons have lost their lives after an attack on a bus. Now, talking about that, the Ministry of Interior has also issued a communique saying that there should be curfew in Walewale from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. However, the Member of Parliament for Walewale is not too happy about this, saying that if they should have the curfew, then it should go beyond Walewale. Other places will have to go through the same thing as well. We'll delve into that. And right here on Joy Prime on Friday, we did have an amazing forum where we narrowed down on free SHS policies and how we can make it better. Of course, after the free SHS had been implemented, we did hear so many issues with regards to it. Now, during the campaign time, the NDC promised to give a better free senior high school. However, can they do it? Well, if they can or they can't, we at Joy Prime decided to put this forum together to get to know how it can be done so that we can have quality education. And I'm here with 2 great men, one representing the NPP and one representing the NDC. So my guest this morning, the very first time coming here on the show, is Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib, and Shaib, yes. Shaib. Yeah. Okay, Shaib, all right. And he is actually the Member of Parliament for Wejagbawi. And this is first time, right, in Parliament. How has it been so far?
Calm.
Calm? Okay. What you expected?
Not too much. We just got in, so we are still learning the trade and activities of Parliament proceedings. So we are sure we're getting and settling properly.
Okay, that's nice. And you're making some strides on there as well. We keep seeing you on TV, so we know that you're doing very well. Your people are proud of you, right?
We are trying.
That's good. Anyway, I also have with me Honorable Timothy Awantim Atabuade. This man has been to Parliament before, so he knows everything with regards to Parliament. So maybe one day when Honorable Shaib needs help, he can go to Honorable Timothy Awantim Atabuade to aid him. Hello, Honorable.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Great.
And you're looking great.
Thank you very much.
Usual.
Thank you.
And good morning to Honorable.
Good morning.
Habib.
Shaib. Yes.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
And then good morning to our viewers out there and to all those who have been contributing for the success of the program. We say kudos to them. May they continue to contribute.
Amen.
To see how Ghana is going to be reset for the benefit of all of us. And I want to wish all our viewers good morning.
Good morning once again. All right, so I'll quickly delve into what the newspapers have for us this morning. I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic: Africa must be self-reliant in financing and development, says President Mahama. Dame criticizes court case withdrawals by AG. 159.9 million Ghana cedis teacher trainee allowance for 2023-2024 unpaid. Aftermath of government directive, minority condemns job terminations, but majority leader says government stands by decision. Now, this is one of our topics this morning, and I can see Honorable Shaib, he came with a big book. He's coming to tell us what the law says about revocations and all of that. The Chronicle newspaper is my next newspaper. The Chronicle newspaper. Otumfuo bluntly tells Amabua, deal decisively with Galamsey Kingpins. Police CID boss sues NIB over her late husband's account. Digitalization, key to unlock Africa's potentials, says Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. And disaster strikes at Tadi Port, 2 Chinese Ghanaian dead. Wow, this is not something that we want to hear. And so we are hoping that whatever happened, we'll have solutions to it. And it won't escalate as well. Economy Times newspaper is my next newspaper, the Economy Times newspaper. Ghana likely to meet a revised cocoa production target for 2024-2025 crop season. Ghana's economic woes are self-inflicted, says World Bank, cautions against rushing back to capital markets. Exploit mineral resources receipts to make up to tax cut revenue laws, and this is from an economist. The Ghanaian Publisher newspaper is my next newspaper, the Ghanaian Publisher. Digital economy no longer a luxury, says Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Mahama's AG whitewashing former NDC officials. This coming from Godfred Dame. APD 2025 compact presented to AU delegates. Samia Uku launches Ofie Markets Initiative. Exim Bank sacks 16 staff recruited in September 2024. Woo, okay. GNPC welcomes acting CEO Kwame Into Amwa, and that will be it for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. My final newspaper is the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times. Let's restore lasting peace to Boko. Asante Hene appeals to factions. And this is what we are seeing in Walewale as well, which we want to talk about it. How do we actually get this resolved? Because it's been ongoing for a while now, and thinking that you are safe, even with security, it doesn't look like we are safe like that in those environs. And so we'll delve deeper into that conversation. President Mahama calls for justice, equity for Africans, and work on Tamale water supply to commence, Works and Housing Minister says. So, all right, so this paper reports again, 9 dead, 15 injured in Walewale road crash. All right, so that will be all for the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Now this, the newspaper, I don't know, because as of this morning, we heard from a reportage that the numbers had risen to 7, but it looks like Ghanaian Times is saying that it's 9. So maybe later we'll get to know more about that, how the number rose to 9. But let's take a look at what's happening in Walewale before we even go to our next topic, which is the revocation of appointments. In Walewale, Ghanaian Times says 9, other reports says 7 persons have lost their lives. There was a clash. Actually, these persons were in a bus going somewhere. The bus unfortunately developed a fault. The driver decided to go look for help in Tamale. Unfortunately, as they were waiting, even with security, a police officer, they were attacked and they were shot. 9 persons have lost their lives out of this. Now, 2 days ago, the Interior Minister did say that he was putting a curfew on the people of Walewale. The curfew was supposed to start from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. However, the Member of Parliament in Walewale says that it's not a fair treatment on his people. If this should happen, then it should go beyond the borders of Walewale. And my guests are really poised for this conversation. Let me ask Honorable Shahid if he agrees with the Member of Parliament.
Yeah, good morning once again. I first had the opportunity of engaging my colleague, Honorable Dr. Tia, who is the Member of Parliament for Walewale. And he's enumerated about 5 very good reasons why. First of all, I'm not sure that I am against any step or any activity to ensure that peace prevails within a certain community or constituency or municipality. So it's critical to state that first. But beyond that, to take a step with regards to bringing peace on board, you need to engage all stakeholders. And he is a major stakeholder. At least you should have in mind that he contested an election. He had a lot of people voting for him. He's their representative in Parliament. And so if a step of this nature has to be taken, it should be considered. And these are the reasons he gave me, and I just want to share, if you permit me.
Sure, please go ahead.
Yes, so that at least we have a very... so these are... He says that, first of all, the Interior Ministry, together with the Ministry of Defense, consulted with MPs and please let's place emphasis on this, from the Boku area without extending an olive branch to him, who is equally
the
affected.
Member of Parliament of Walewale.
Exactly.
All
and
right.
this is clearly a decision that does not seek to foster peace, but an attempt to use state power to unjustifiably punish innocent civilians. That is critical. For somebody who is their representative, who is a major stakeholder, there seems to be a certain conversation around bringing peace to bear in Boku and its environs. But members of parliament within a certain area, and more critically, those who are seen to be within a certain party, were those who were invited, and he was ignored. So if you want to bring peace, first of all, the critical thing to do is to bring all hands on deck. Let those who matter, stakeholders who matter, be a part of the conversation. For all you know, anybody who had a plan to cause more havoc or to cause more problem would just restrain or refrain from doing so just because he or she has seen the member of parliament, who perhaps is his person, and that person would listen to the member of parliament and will not further engage in that. And for me, I think this is very critical. That's the first one. And then I'll share with you the second statement he made. So if the government was minded and sincerely believes that curfew was the best security measure at the moment, it ought to have covered areas such as Binduri, Zibila, Garu, and all areas where there have been attacks on travelers to and from Boku. Surprisingly, under the military escort between December 2021 till date, there have been at least 25 attacks in these areas. So you have Zibila, Binduri, Garu that have had some serious or significant attacks, but all of these places have been left out. And I'm reporting from what my colleague told me.
Yeah.
So I just want us to consider all of this to see how best. So he believes that there is selective application of the security measure, and that is just virtually to cow his people into not getting involved in trade, business, and other things. I've also, on my own, read from some sister stations and the kind of suggestions or allegations they've made. One of which is that you brought in a lot of military people, and it's an allegation, so let me just place that on record, because I do not know for a fact that you brought in security men, especially the military men, who are harassing our women. Now, a lady is asked to close her shop because she's selling food. But this same lady is also asked to provide meat for the security men to have as lunch or dinner. And that, for my colleague, is a smack in the face. And these are some of the things he's indicated that these are some of the reasons why he thinks the process has not been properly considered. Yes.
Fair enough, and I don't know, but I'll ask you this. I wish it was your colleague seated here, but I'll ask you this because you are reading from what your colleague said.
Yes, yes.
Now, December 2021 till date, there have been at least 25 attacks in these areas. That's what he said.
That's what he
right?
said. Yes.
Now, from September to this date, the only time that we have seen an incident with regards to since this interior minister took over is Walewale. Now, looking at that, must we actually say that he should put a ban on these areas when under his tenure, it's only Walewale that it's happened?
Well, so what he's saying is that I don't think he's so upset about the fact that there is a dusk to dawn curfew. But first of all, he thinks that there have not been proper engagements of major stakeholders, including...
So maybe his main problem is of engagements.
Which includes him. He's not too excited about a curfew.
All right.
But he also believes that, so like you are indicating, if there be instances within his place, and just because Honorable Muntaka took office, and these were the incidents, and he felt that this was the way to stop, and he decided to place a curfew on the group of people within that community, he still feels that you needed to talk to me. Now, he comes up with other suggestions, that you could go ahead to enhance security presence, and especially around the border towns or the areas that he thinks that people actually commit these heinous crimes. Rather than, and this he went on to say that the number of military and police people who have been sent into town, if half of those security personnel had been put alongside these border towns where you are saying that, people have lost their lives, that would rather be a better solution than just going in there to say that we are not going to let you operate business from 6:1 or 6:2 or 6:5 p.m. till the next day 6 a.m. And you are getting people rather involved in more heinous, and this is actually causing more tension amongst them.
All right.
So he thinks that enhance the presence at very critical areas. Instead of getting people going to town and then you are having all manner of allegations.
I am not speaking on behalf of the Interior Ministry, but I'm just, trying to find out or trying to get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Maybe under his tenure again, he's been at post for probably just maybe a month or under a month, and this has happened. It happened in Walewale. So he ought to start from where it happened under his tenure. Now he'll go into investigation because you need to start by, somebody will say, have a state of emergency or something. Act first with where it's happened, go into investigation. Now you can, after that investigation, you can now decide, oh, okay, these areas as well, I need to put this here, put these measures here, put that measure here. So probably, yes, he's starting with Walewale because that is where the incident has happened under his tenure.
So just let me reiterate the point that I see the Honorable Minister of Interior as a man who has a lot of capacity to deal with issues. I think that I won't sit here and believe that Honorable Muntaka is just in a rush to take decisions. But I also believe that whatever, because if you further read what the conversation I had with Dr. Tia, he will tell you that it was more of, for him, a preconceived plan.
Okay.
And that is worrying. For a representative to believe that, oh, well, if it wasn't a preconceived plan, how come you are not engaging us? And this is where he thinks that to some extent, and I'm very careful because it's a security matter.
Yes, it's a security matter.
That areas that are seen more as a stronghold are the places that they've gone into to more like put fear into the people and to also get them to go through some abject poverty because they won't be able to engage in businesses they would usually have engaged in.
Okay.
So these are some of the, but let me be very clear. I believe Honorable Muntaka has the capacity to deal with the matter. I think he should engage further. I think our colleague is worried about the fact that he has all this preconceived or prejudicial, assuming that he even has this prejudicial thinking. What can we do to ameliorate all of that and so that we have a peaceful Boku, a peaceful Walewale, a peaceful region?
Okay, fantastic. Honorable, you are from these areas, of course, the northern belt, where we are hoping that we won't be hearing these things, but unfortunately we keep hearing these things. And it's beginning to be even more political because certain decisions that are being taken, the Member of Parliament says that he wasn't even consulted when decisions were taken with regards to his area. And for you, I know you belong to the NDC, but I wish that you not speak politically about it, but speak like a citizen from that place.
Well, he will do that. I actually did that. I actually did that. Because if I wanted to, if I wanted to place emphasis on my political thinking, I wouldn't be talking the way I did.
Okay.
I think it's a security matter. We need to be sensitive to the people.
Yeah.
We need to move.
I don't even understand why Rosalind...
Oh, I think she's just trying to edge you.
I want us to speak for the people and be fair.
It's not even an issue, just part of... these are lesser issues. Let me say good morning to the people of Walewale, and we sympathize and empathize with those who lost their lives as a result of these confusions and so on, and wish them the best. And I think that it should not happen. Well, you see, it becomes so painful that people who know themselves, within a spark of an utterance or anything, it can lead to deaths, needless deaths, and so on. Already things are not easy for people. Those who die sometimes are even the breadwinners of their families and so on. Then pain is brought due to someone's carelessness and so on. And for me, it is very important we take these things into consideration when we are discussing these issues. It's painful that you come from some part of this world and you get people are fighting and killing themselves for issues that they can easily sit at the table to resolve them. Peace emanates from the people. Peace cannot be imposed on people. No. No matter what you do, you cannot impose people. It is when the people realize that, look, we have to sit down and then resolve our matter peacefully and live together. That is the end of every problem we have on this air. But you see, I think that the MP must hasten slowly. And I think that he's just come to Parliament. Some of these things, when you look at them from the political angle, at the end of the day, do not even help you from the point you want to go and so on. And I would think that at least he could have discussed these things with the Minister for Interior, a colleague of his, a senior colleague, of course. Interestingly, I think they are all from the same religious background or so. And they hate, we know that Islam just hate most of these things and so, just like other religions and so on. So for me, I thought you should first establish that camaraderie, that friendship between you and the one in Parliament. If you even think that the fellow has gone haywire, you can draw the fellow's attention in order not to escalate. Because when you do that, there's the tendency to bring in the political angle, you understand? And that does not help at all. For instance, if you extend it to say that people in Binduru and other areas, the curfew should have been extended to. Yes, it could be, but that probably the confusion there now does not need a curfew. My brother talked about the fact that the MP's thinking is that strongholds of his, the curfew is there and it's going to affect their livelihood. Rightly so, because it's difficult for people to fend for themselves and so on. So by the same measure, you would also know that when tensions are in Garu, Boko, and other areas, and then they begin to settle down, you have to be graduating your security measures there in order to give respite to the people there to also be able to eke an income for themselves and make livelihood, you understand? So I am completely not very happy by my brother's recall of what the Member of Parliament has said. But I think they should hasten slowly. They should. It's better for them to be seen as leaders, leading the peace process, not to unnecessarily go against what government is putting in place. Because if the MP seems to stand on one leg, and then security agencies also stand on one leg, it's not going to help at all. They should be seen to be going there together. If he's not consulted, it could be an oversight. I don't think it's a big deal. You can look, I'm leading the people. Let me be part of the peace process and so on. I use the road often, like you said. I think getting to the election, there was some burning of buses and so on. So when I got to Tamale, they were telling us that we have to get police escort. I said, no. This one, I can just drive through. I don't need any police
Really?
escort. Yeah. Because
you're not scared?
I don't believe that they would unnecessarily attack me. What I believe is that probably sometimes some of these things happen due to misinformation. They will say that, you see, some people are coming from here, let's attack them and so on. And I drove through, went and came in to and fro up to today. So sometimes misinformation, and there are people behind the scenes who continue to see that these areas do not get peace so that they can enjoy either political or financially. Remember that when there is a war or confusion like this, people benefit from that. So we have to be careful, and I know that Muntaka, like he rightly put up, is a capable senior colleague of ours in Parliament. He has seen it all, and I think that he will be the last fellow to do things that to exacerbate the already precarious situation in Walewale and so on. So for me, they can go back to the table, look at it, but if the Minister for Interior and for that matter, National Security thinks that the curfew would immediately reduce the atrocities, then that is the best. So that later on it can be graduated.
It's also affecting the livelihoods of the people there, because
Certainly.
What's going to happen is that you can't even be doing your business
that
like you have
true,
to. And this is a party that you campaign on 24-hour economy.
Yeah.
And so if there's curfew here and the neighbors don't have the curfew, they will feel how they feel.
Curfews are not in perpetuity. Curfews are imposed to achieve some amount of stability in terms of the confusion. Then from there, the dialogue can then go on between youth leaders, women organizations, chiefs, and all those who matter can be brought to the table. You can never achieve peace when there's confusion. You must bring stability. You must ensure that there's calmness to some degree before you can sit the people there. The people know that this type of confusion, in fact, Walewale it's a business area, especially along the major road and so on. So definitely they'll feel, and curfew invariably imposes some unforeseen hardship that by some way will let you also calm down to ensure that, look, my livelihood is better than when we continue to engage in this some needless type of fight and so for me, yes, it is not in perpetuity. They are monitoring the situation. It can be from 6 to 6 sometimes, or even from 4 to that and so on, and finally it's lifted for a month and 2 while they continue the peace process and negotiations. When that is done, then it can be lifted. I think this is about the first time also I've heard that curfew in Walewale also for a long time.
So do you think that with regards to what the Member of Parliament said, that there are other areas that these things have happened where attacks are ongoing and all of that, they should also have curfew there? Do you agree that it should happen?
No. That's what I said initially. National security are always having a brief. If there's a need be at any particular place, they can put curfew depending on the seriousness of the matter. So it should not necessarily be extended because some areas were having it. Is it the same thing that is happening now? Must they continue to put curfew when the issues there are being under control?
All right.
The curfew has a purpose. They put it to control the situation. When the situation is getting better, the people are getting tired with it, then they themselves can even be complaining about the fact that there's no this, and so on. But they monitor and releases the curfew and even the hours as and when they feel that curfew must be there. They get security briefings and so on. Because, when there's curfew there, there's also pressure on the security agencies. And then the minister who has even kept the curfew, there got a lot of calls and so on. So for me, I think that Binduri Garu must not necessarily go through the same fate. When there was curfew in Bokwe and other areas, Walewale was not having curfew. Were there curfews there? No. So,
all right.
Do you understand?
Let me bring Honorable Shaib in. You see, the point that Honorable Awantim just made, when there was curfew in Boko, there wasn't curfew in Walewale. But want to...
Does it not sound like equalization for you?
No.
It sounds like so.
No, but you see, we are looking, we want to look at how this curfew is going to affect their livelihoods.
I get it. Yeah. So let me just make the point that for my senior brother to have said that it wasn't a big deal to have considered a member of parliament. In itself, it's a major problem.
No, I didn't say it.
You did. I wrote it down. So that's the moment you said it. Maybe you didn't notice that, but you did. And that's why I think it's a problem. First of all, he comes to tell you that there are issues in my constituency. And my senior brother now makes reference to the fact that, he thinks that the young MP could have also consulted Honorable Muntaka. But you don't go and place a ban on a product before you come and tell the producer.
But he's the security minister.
Yes, so it's absolutely nothing wrong to engage him. In fact, that even shows your idea of bringing all hands on deck. Because if you want to really have peace, and that is why people can feel prejudiced about the situation. If I genuinely want to have peace, and you are involved in bringing peace to bear, because I also heard him, he made very remarkable submissions on how to bring the youth groups, who would be in the best position to also bring some of these groups on board. He's also the member of parliament. So for me, I think that he also he has few observations he's made, including some areas that he also thinks that when we take steps to deal with those, we can get to a peaceful, community. Now, he goes on to say that he has also tried to reach out to the minister. So he said, listen, even though the military later on apologized, so there was an incident in one of the places that he had indicated, and that there was a preconceived plan which was exposed when the military, without any provocation, innocently brutalized civilians on the 15th January 2025. Even though the military later on apologized, the recent atrocities against civilians by the military is clearly not only unlawful, but distasteful and in bad faith. In the last 2 days, the military have tortured persons on site in Kukwa, Loagri, Walewale, Bimsi, and Wulugu communities, leading to the loss of one life and several others maimed. We don't have to get people to get to this stage of thinking that, you're doing this and it's to a particular group of people. When you are a part of the situation and you are helping in resolving the problem, then you won't have some kind of crazy thoughts or thinking in your mind and to think that, oh, it's just an attack towards a particular group of people. I don't think it is late. I think that, yes, it's a good move for any of the colleagues to move and say that, listen, I think I'm a major stakeholder, just as you. Let's see how best we can resolve. Then this is our ANC.
So I just want to find out, would the Member of Parliament have been okay if the Interior Minister consulted him and they both decided to put a curfew there?
Well, I think that would be largely a good part.
So with that, so for him, it's not about the curfew, it's about the consulting.
Because he believes that if he had met the Minister of Interior, the Minister of Interior perhaps may not have gone ahead to impose the curfew.
No.
Oh, so what?
That is the truth.
What measures could have been
what I'm only
there?
saying
So
that,
he gave
the security might have information that the Member of Parliament might,
which I agree, and I'm not discounting
especially
that.
the BNI.
I agree. The national security itself can have all the information.
Yes.
But you see, you and I will not come to this extent if they had even briefed him. Now listen, all that you are thinking of is not just what you know. We actually know there are a certain sect or group of men and women here who are planning to unleash violence the next 30 days or 15 days, and this is what we have and we can. It's a mindset.
So it's more as a communication.
You need that.
So it's not the action per se, but the conversation.
The action becomes wrong if communication is not properly executed.
Okay, all right.
Because if you give him the opportunity, maybe he would not even come and issue a statement. Because as I speak with you, I know that...
He said he had tried to reach out to the minister?
Yes. He told me that. He told me he has tried to reach out. And this is a private conversation. But
right.
I actually sought his clearance before coming to have a discussion. And he went on to say, I wish to appeal to the Interior Minister to review the decision and engage comprehensively to achieve the common goal of peace and stability. Any forceful implementation of this measure will create animosity and anger, which could further fuel the crisis in Boko. This is what I'm saying. All you needed to do, and me, if, for instance, you came to my house and you picked me or you picked my children and you said, oh, I needed to do that first. And this was because, oh, there would have been some serious problem. I may understand. But when you're talking about the whole community, and he seemed to be the representative, he is the representative of the community, all you could have done was perhaps to engage him, brief him, and let him understand that it is not for any political expediency, because that is where it is always dangerous.
Okay.
The moment you take a step and somebody begins to think that, oh, you took this step because maybe you have a personal political agenda, it is an issue. It's a problem.
Okay.
No, I don't even want the issue of political expediency. First of all, the regional minister is the chairman of the RECSEC and so on. We still have the district people, even though they currently know DC there. And they get, what do you call it?
Information
briefing all the time. Yes. How would Honorable Muntako, the curfew that was imposed, know that this place is Team's stronghold, this was Shaib's stronghold and so on? It does not matter in terms of this.
No, it doesn't.
But, yeah, it does, because when there is chaos or confusion in an area, people care less about your political color. They go ahead and what is hurting them, they ventilate that anger, that pensive mood, and that's what brings the confusion. We've seen even, even strongholds of NDC alone fighting themselves, or even MPP alone, you understand? That is why I didn't want initially to go into the political, because it is too early.
Yeah.
And sometimes criminals can infiltrate, knowing our political dispensations, and do these criminal works in order to create despondency, in order to create some issues that it can benefit.
So, Honorable, this is exactly the point. I agree with you on all of this.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that this would not have called for this discussion if communication had been dealt with properly.
Right now, communication hasn't been dealt with. So we need to discuss it and have a way of having the two parties having a conversation so we come to a conclusion.
Dr. Mahama comes in and says that, okay, so let's get involved. Let us have a broader conversation, a more comprehensive one. Let him be briefed. I expect that I will be briefed if there is a problem in Walewale before there is an imposition of curfew.
Okay.
And since I'm not the minister,
part of it, they'll call, call you.
And you are a member of RECSEC.
Right.
And you know what? This is even for me the funniest part. So when we were about to vet the minister, the regional minister, I remember my colleague coming around to say, listen, this is an NDC man, is my regional minister, but he's a very good brother of mine. So let's vet him with love. I remember this. So it is not as if there is someone who is already against. No. And I told you that one of the persons, in fact, that I cherish so much from the NDC is Honorable Muntaka. He's been a leader, he's very calm on the floor. So this is someone that, but maybe, like he said, it could have been an oversight. Which oversight we need to correct as soon as practicable. But that's all I'm saying. So that bring all members on board. Let them feel a part of the solution.
I understand where the problem is. So if there's going to be a conversation or somebody will say a round table discussion, obviously we are going to hear better things in future. Honorable, you do agree, right?
Certainly, whatever that will bring peace to my people, I think I'm for it. And not just my people, for the whole of this country.
Very well.
Because we need to live in harmony and in peace with ourselves, no matter our differences and so on. That is what binds us together as a nation with love and not our personal idiosyncrasies and so on. So for me, I'll go for anything that will bring peace and not to exacerbate the already precarious situation so that our people can live in peace, do their livelihoods, like my brother is saying, so that they can have a better place for their children.
But how is this curfew going to impact their livelihoods, though?
Certainly, curfews impact whatever it is. Once there's war, quote unquote, wherever it is globally, it will impact, even if it is 24 hours.
Yeah, but even if you are not going out of your own house.
Yes, it will impact.
I can imagine if you are not supposed to come to join for about a week.
Yes.
And you are not going to be paid. It's definitely going to impact your livelihood. People's movements have been restrained.
Businesses, living is based on their daily subsistence.
Yes.
What they get, the 1 cedi he gets at the station, the ice water he sells and get the 50%.
And especially when they are running farms. When they are farmers and they have not been on their farms, and maybe there are other activities causing damage on their farms. Right. They are losing a lot of revenue. And you know, I told you that I cited a publication from one of the sister stations that talked about an allegation that they caused
brutality?
They caused the shop owners or someone who is a vendor, a food vendor, to close, but they still directed that person to bring them meat. You know. So
anyway, what we pray for is peace in the Northern Belt. I mean, this is something that we've been trying as much as possible to get done in the Northern Belt, and we are hoping that peace will be resolved because nobody should lose their lives due to certain misunderstandings. You know, they can't have something that they say, and I'm hoping that our brothers and the Northern Belt will find a way of resolving their issues. And we are also calling on the Interior Minister to have a sit-down with a Member of Parliament
and all stakeholders,
all other stakeholders as well. They should have a roundtable discussion so that peace will prevail, because all we pray for is peace. All right, so let's move on to our next topic, which happens to be the revocation of appointments that were done after the 7th of January 2025. Now, the Chief of Staff issued a communique saying that appointments done after the 7th of January 2025 were not going to hold anymore. And so people that had assumed work from 7th of January 2025 should go home. Now, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwife Associations are not happy. They say that if this should happen to them, they will definitely be going on a strike. We want to take a look at even why the revocation is happening in the first place. Now, some people say that, of course, from the 7th of January 2025, the NPP was not in power. And so why will they go ahead and make appointments, knowing very well that there had been a new president who had been sworn in? And if they wanted to do this, why didn't they even do it before the 7th of January? And for the people that are going out as well, some are also saying that during the tenure of the NPP, they did the same thing. And so why is the NPP crying foul for the people? So let me come again to Honorable Shaib.
No, I think you should pass on because he's the appointment. You should pass on to my senior brother. He's the appointment who is now revoking appointments. So maybe.
Honorable Shaib, you have a whole.
That's why I'm here.
He has
that's
a whole book in front of him.
All right, it's very important.
Let me start with Honorable.
He's the appointment. He's decided to.
Timothy, I want him after body.
Let me say that, you see, history is guiding us in wherever that we are going. And if you do not know your history, you repeat what happened, gone down the lane and so on. It is necessary that when a government is handed over power, you take both assets, liabilities, and so on. It is incumbent on you to do due diligence to whatever that has been handed over to you. And then you see the processes that leads to recruitments and so on, whether they are in tandem with public service recruitment and so on. That is one. Two, we have also seen that due diligence after we handed over, there have been a lot of ghost names in institutions. So it will be improper on your part if you do not take statistical data and then match this with the figures you get to get the actual numbers. Remember that we are spending so much on wages and salaries. As we talked this morning, government would have to borrow from treasury bills each month. That's what was handed over to us before they can pay salaries. That has been the issue since we went into the debt, the DDEP, and the economic junk status. We needed to mobilize revenue internally. And the only reliable source for government before we took over had been the treasury bills, the sale of the auction of treasury bills, to get revenue to be able to pay workers because they've worked and you cannot pay. If you look at what is happening at the National Service, the quantum of ghost names there and other institutions across. And before we took over, there's been a lot of underground recruitment. Before that self, the numbers in the public service had increased to over 1 million, like they kept telling us. When they took over, the total number of people on SNIT was about 600, or between 600 and 700,000 of public sector workers. Yet, as at that time, we made a revenue of about 14 billion. We paid salaries alone about 9 billion or so. That means the salary and emoluments take a chunk of the money, leaving little for fiscal development and so on, or investment and so on. So if you take over power, you must go through each institution, especially what we are having. Not just that, but we need to do forensic audit, looking at the fact that even revelations now coming from all other angles shows that the figures were not tallying with what we're telling. Let me give you an example. There's a clear example is that we were told during the campaign that 7.5 million people benefited from this free HSS.
So the print was, the error was 5.7, not 7.5.
No, 5.7.
Yes.
This figure was challenged several. I've heard Dr. Park challenged it and other people in the education sector. You remember those that we used to do the debate here. Now reality has dawned, and then the minister has accepted that, look, it was not 5.7, I think I got the figure right, but it was rather 3.2 or so. Where did we go? Why should this figure be peddled around when we even attempted at a time to correct them, the rubbish S and so on? This figure was not only peddled by MPP and its communicators, but by the vice president, by the president himself, by the Minister of Education, who emphatically drummed it home that this was the figure. Assuming that we're going to go with that figure, and assuming that when we deduct the over 2 million, that means that they were paying in excess. Is that not it? In any case, when you check the explanation they are giving, that the explanation is that it was triple counted. And I don't even still believe, I think we have to go into a figure, because when you multiply that, if the real figure is now 3 million, you multiply it by 3, it should be 9 million or 10 million.
Because of these, that's why you're
because of these things,
the appointments?
Yes. Because of these things, you must ensure that you have the right figures. And how can you do that? You can only get that by getting the data from the employers and so on, from the various ministries, departments, and agencies. And that is exactly what we're doing. Like you rightly put it in your write-up. Look, in your points. You handed over power 7th January. You continue to recruit and backdate Why were you backdating? In any case, you see, they should be serious. All along us at that time, even members of the MPP were saying there are no jobs. They heard about the job issues. So these spaces were there, and you left it, and as at the time it dawned on you that you were leaving, you were choking. Already the system was overpopulated, overchoked.
A minute more to make the point.
Was overchoked. So were you trying to put a burden that, oh, let's do it. Let them come and do and we see. Just like with the electricity and oil, all those things, they say, oh, we have procured oil, we have done that, we have done that. It is not good governance. If there should be good faith in both sides when we are handing over. You've handed over, you didn't do the recruitment before December, after 7th January. As I talked to you last week, I was talking about it, and the one I was there. Look, do you know that last week they revoked the appointments of some officers? They revoked even CEOs of some agencies. But when I was here, the honorable member I was here with, he said no CEOs working again, which is not true. As I talked to you this morning, before I came, I called one of the institutions. He's still there. You understand? So for me, it's a good example. But let's go to the nursing issue. The nursing issue in particular that they said...
Honorable, your time is up. I'll have to come back to you with regards to the nursing issue. I want to go to Honorable Shaib. Honorable Shaib, you know, people's concern, especially those that they are going to go through this revocation, some of them are even saying that this could have been done before the 7th of January. So why didn't the NPP do it for them?
So first of all, I'm sure you saw that my senior brother and colleague had a lot of difficulty explaining away the issue.
That is my explanation. You cannot determine whether it's difficult or
yeah, well, especially against the backdrop that if we are dealing with revocation, my senior brother is not talking about free SHS.
No, just to give you the data.
Which is okay.
Yeah,
which is okay. I understand it's your view, but
even national service. You see national service, what is happening? 81,000. What did go with that number?
So, let him make his point.
So I find this very arbitrary. I find it to be extremely unconstitutional. And I just need us to understand one point, that governance is a continuum. So as far as there was a certain president at a certain point in time that found the need to issue letters through agencies for people, Ghanaian people, in fact, Ghanaians, who are properly qualified to occupy those positions, for them to go and sit in the respective offices that they've been taxed to. And then you come against the backdrop that it was the same President Mahama. And I'm sure you have those videos and clips. In fact, I was going to show you. And if you are minded to play.
I have a lot of them, but I didn't want to show them.
And that President Mahama posted on his Twitter or Facebook or something to the effect that these are Ghanaians, you cannot treat them this way. It's sad. Look, youth unemployment is massive in Ghana. Somebody comes and says that, well, I'm sure I cannot get all these problems solved within a day. And so let's take it one at a time. I'll come to the specific part of the nurses because it takes even several processes to get a certain section. Look, since MPP and Akufo, in 2016, right, there was a backlog of nurses who just could not be fixed. Never had any form of employment until we took office.
Akufo.
And then we started. So it started until now you have a backlog of since 2020. So about 4 or 5 years of people who have qualified properly, so-called, as nurses, and they are sitting at home. And what are we talking about? Have you ever seen any form of employment that you go for an interview the same day and you get an employment the same day? You go through processes. Some institutions will need you to go through a lot of processes, including doing a due diligence on you, and including doing prints, just to be sure that you have not even been engaged in any form of crime or whatever. I mean, it's just sad that people have gone to school, suffered, and they've even believed in President Mahama's manifesto of providing employment for them. And then when push comes to shove, this is it, there is employment, then you come and say you are revoking. Well, just look at, make reference to...
Honorable Shaib, let me come in and just ask you a few questions. I like the fact that you did mention in 2020, from 2020 all the way to 2025, because that's when the appointments were made. You know, some nurses were unemployed, and that was under your tenure. And are you telling us, Ghanaians watching, that it took 4 years to do recruitment, it took 4 years to do proper scrutiny on the people, it took 4 years for them to do interviews before you could give them employment?
So I guess you didn't get my point. There was a backlog. Since President Kufuor left office, the appointment of nurses was just sitting somewhere. So those who were supposed to have come in, especially in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, were not catered for. So that backlog, they started dealing with it in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020.
So you're saying there was no employment of nurses from
2009
all the way into 2016? There was no employment whatsoever?
And let me be very frank here. I may not get the exact date, but you can check. There was a backlog for at least 4 years. So when you check now, those who are now being catered for are the 2020 group. What does it mean? It means that backlog, which was not taken care of earlier, we are now trying to work on it. At least I remember having a conversation with the then Minister of Health, Honorable Okoboy, because I've had a lot of people from the constituency who had requested nurses that, oh, my daughter is 2021, but they said, and I go back to Okoboy, and Okoboy tells you that, oh, no, this time we can only do 2020 before we can go to 2021. These are men and women who have worked, gone to school, toiled enough, qualified to be given employment. And just for the fact that somebody thinks that, these employment letters were perhaps given to them maybe in December.
Or January.
Well, I do not even know the January part, but let's assume without admitting that, or January. And what is wrong with that? Why Ghana ceases to run when it is 6th January or 5th January? He doesn't. Or if President Akufo-Addo was...
So the main challenge was a backlog. That was the main challenge.
I know about that.
And then the second challenge was what? There weren't enough health facilities to employ them?
Well, in some instances, people have indicated that there were... But you and I know. I've been on the board of Kolebu Teaching Hospital. You go... I've had issues to deal with sometimes emergencies. You go, and the number of nurses you have maybe only 2 or 3 who are on assignment. And when you check their roll book, that is exactly the people who have been assigned there. Does that mean that they didn't have facilities to work?
So what was the main problem? Because we want to get to the bottom of what the problem is.
But we are not even dealing with revocation only with only nurses. They have only taken the stance to say that if you proceed on this,
I understand.
We are going to deal with you in this manner because they know what they are going through.
I'm just asking.
You have a lot of nurses who are dashing out of Ghana because they've stayed in the system for all this period. And very quality trained nurses. And so you have a whole system or structure that now takes people to Barbados, and we don't see the need to keep our own, and all in the name of politics.
What is the problem? Because as citizens, again, I will say this, and we speak on behalf of the citizens, you pay your taxes, you vote, and you are promised health care. You vote and you are promised, we'll build hospitals, we'll build this, we'll create facilities, we'll create jobs, we'll create employment. What is the problem? That somebody will complete school, stay at home for 8 years with no employment, and then we have to get to this part where we now have to play politics with it. Because in 2017, we saw this happen under the NPP. In 2025...
I need you to remind me properly. I'm sorry if it was...
There were some revocations, though.
Which one? If you give me a reason...
a lot.
If you give me a reason...
You want to show the hips up?
Yeah, I'm minded. I'm minded for you to take me through.
All right.
I can even mention a lot of people even went to court and so on.
Okay.
Or suffer Marfus or trans. Look at this letter.
Well, but you and I know that...
No. See, I didn't want us to go there. I didn't even want us to go there. But this was Safo Marfus' letter.
But you and I know that letter never came to effect. You know it. Honorable, you know it. I see you
Honorable
as...
Shaibu, let him make a point.
Honorable, you didn't know that.
Honorable Shaibu, is your name Shaibu or Shaibu?
No, it's Shaibu.
Shaibu.
The Shaibu, they come from Afghanistan.
And then Ghana website says that 13,000 people were revoked. I was not even looking at it from the angle. That's why I didn't code those things. But I was looking at it from the angle from which Rosalind is telling us, how is this thing? How are we going to resolve the matter? But you see, with regard to the nurses, I don't think that their appointments, nurses and teachers in particular, will be revoked. The revocation is especially have to do with the highly political appointed people in the various departments and agencies. This one, they were supposed to submit for us to know the number of people that have been employed in the nurses, in the nurses space. You remember that we need to have the statute to know, like he's talking about backlog, so that if we know that between that period you employ 1,000 people, there's 5,000 backlog. How do we move from that place? Like he rightly said, and you put it this morning. Look, and I think when you vetted your minister, he talked about the fact that we can look at issues of even exporting our nurses and teachers elsewhere, because they are even good. Some of them are going illegal and so on and so forth. Let us look at the way forward. But for me, I think that the recruitment using that period was not properly done and was in the process like you talk about. You know, every public recruitment has a processes that you may go through. Was it just that, or you were putting them across and filling the spaces and so? And if those spaces existed, why didn't you do? Why the rush? Did you budget for this number? You didn't budget for it. You only put it there, and then the new budget that would take. So you must know even the number of people, so that the budget where we are going to present in this March will be able to cater for them in terms of the fact that you need to pay them once they are on the payroll and so on. So there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't even think that the request for nurses, or the nursing institution and for GS to present their list is that they are going to, I don't think that it's going to affect those people. But the top political people that were appointed, like Osafo Mahafo's children and those similar things, are those we are vocal for.
So are we witch hunting now?
No.
Well, because that's how we
yes.
Sounds like
no. Why?
What did Osafo Mahafo was he appointed in December?
Let us stop this conversation of Osafo Mahafo's children.
Was he appointed in December?
No, I'm telling you that the revocation
but
that we talked about.
Let's concentrate on what the chief of staff said. He never mentioned those people. He mentioned.
No, but you know the chief executives and whatnot, political will let them. Some of them resign. Some of them said they couldn't work because
that's fine.
That's another.
But we are talking about what the chief of staff said.
Yes. And when you go to the agencies, and you see them, did they go through the process?
Yes, that is where you need to. That is where I thought you were going to lay emphasis on.
They did not go through the process.
How? Were you there? How do you make such an allegation?
Certainly cannot be there. But recruitments are done in the night.
Jesus Christ.
And over that, within a period, you push in about 100 to an institution that cannot even accommodate them. What processes would they have gone through, Shaib?
Rosalie, so you see,
what processes would they have gone through?
Me to make this point. How come my own honorable, whom I so cherish his calmness, sit here and say that recruitments were made in the night?
Oh, Shine, don't let us
No, you can't make sense.
Those are allegations. Unless we have proof.
It's a figurative statement.
Unless we have proof.
First of all,
no, because if we don't have proof, then when we make
honorable is very much aware that
then it's not fair.
First of all, when you are to go ahead with employment in a government institution, you need two major clearances. Which one is financial and technical clearance?
Yes, it can even be criminal, like you said.
So did they get financial and technical clearance?
When we get the list,
if they had that, that is a basis for them now to be
call for their file.
All right. Let me read a few comments and then I come back to you,
Let me know what they went through.
Let me read a few comments coming in. Good morning, Rosalind. Please ask the NPP representative, that's Honorable Shaib, when Electoral Commission will pay the workers who work during December 7th national election. Rosalind, good morning. Please ask Honorable Shaib whether they allocated funds to pay these people recruited. John B. from Achim Tafo. All right, so, dear Rosalind, I'm flabbergasted to hear NPP people chastising the OSP for declaring Ken Ofori-Atta wanted and a fugitive. During Kufuor's administration, Kwame Pepa and Victor Salome were former finance ministers and deputy, but they were tried and jailed, and Victor Salome lost his life tragically while in jail. Is Ken Ofori-Atta better than Kwame Pepa and Victor Salome? Ken Ofori-Atta has visited economic crimes on Ghanaians so much that he should face the full rigors of the law now that the clearing agents into it's not in power. All right, let me see. Good morning. morning, dear. Is the NPP man, the Honorable Shai, telling us that last-minute employment of NPP is an achievement? Where are the hospitals for the nurses to work in? A Hunter West Agenda 111 is still under construction after commissioning. Why are politicians always deceiving the ordinary Ghanaian? If the NSS issue is true, Keno Ferrata and Baumia needs to answer, because they kept saying ECOWAS card had helped eliminate the ghost names from Account General's payroll. Master Planner Junior Kintampo says the second coming back, President Mahama, is a catastrophe adventure for the Ghanaian youth. He promised us jobs through the 24-hour economy, so-called one job, 3 people and 3 shifts. Today, he cannot even manage and pay 1 shift. My boss, lawyer Jerry Ahmed, has really made my day with his facts and figures analysis. We need him more on the show. Master Planner. All right, Master Planner, we'll have a conversation about that after this. We'll have to talk to him to see if he will be on the show all the time. I always thank God Almighty for removing these MPP tricksters. When they were given the opportunity, they employed only their family members, to the extent that Nanado even employed his former... I'm sorry, this is not fact, and I'm not going to read the rest. Togbui Banini Saiketa, good morning, Rosalind. Some innocent citizens in these areas know much about their brothers who are behaving, who are having these weapons. There should be proper intelligence and investigations by our men who are not in uniforms to sweep through these areas. I wish my voice could be heard. But Rosalind, on a lighter note, I thank God there's no heated argument on the panel today. If not, your desk would have been turned upside down. My 9-year-old son was asking me, Daddy, is there not the man that was pushing the tables in Parliament? Honorable Shaib. All right, so I'm not going to, I don't know what to say about this. Honorable Shaib, at that point, you know, some things happened, but yes, they apologized in Parliament, so, you know. You understand. Greetings, Rosalind. Please ask the NDC man, where was he when John Mahama promised jobs for the people of Ghana? There was this 133 advert that they were doing during the campaign. So if John Mahama thinks that those who have been recruited are many, then he should explain that 133 thing to us. Ghanaians haven't seen anything. Yes, Nana from Agona Swedru. Good morning. Please, what is the NPP man complaining about? NPP led by Osafo Mafo in 2017 got to the extent of sacking police trainees. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, Rosalind. In my humble opinion, the revocation of appointments and recruitment is in order, and I totally support it with all my heart and soul. Madam, during the transition meetings, the NPP were told to stop such acts, and they refused and went on to recruit. I'll advise, if the NPP thinks otherwise, they should proceed to court and spare us the noise. But I can assure you their case will be thrown out. Madam, the NPP again is all in the place, condemning the security agencies that invaded the house of Keno Ferrata. My goodness, I remember when soldiers with guns stormed the house of the late President Mills in his absence and maltreated his wife and whoever was in that house. I did hear the NPP condemning the barbaric acts because they were in power. Madam, we have a country to govern. They should give us a break. Enough of this hypocrisy and double standards. Good morning, Rosalind. Why are the NPP people crying for the revocation appointments? Have they forgotten what they did in 2017? They should give us a break. Robert Youngson from Cape Coast. Good morning, Joy Prime. Please, madam, ask the NDC man where is the 24-hour economy? During the campaign, the president said, one job, 3 people. NDC, stop complaining and do the job. Are those employed Togolese? From Mohammed Ibrahim Yendi. Hassan Sise from Zeno Central says the raid of Keno Ferrata's house and the apology from the Honorable Mahama Yariga need more clarity and explanation, because is it that Parliament that was behind the raid of the fugitive wanted house? If you don't court somebody, you don't render an apology to that person. Since the leader of the legislature is apologizing, they must have raided the house. Was it the marshals that raided the fugitive's house? We need to know. Good morning, madam. It's unfortunate that those who promised 24-hour economy are chasing workers to go home. It must be on record that the NPP never sacked any nurses as it was suspended but were all brought back in 2017. Remember, the former Auditor General was appointed in December 2016 after elections. Was he sacked? No wonder Operation Clear All Looters in progress. Thanks. Somebody says I should read this. It happened in 2017. Okay, it says suspension of recruitment of health professionals. I refer to the earlier letter with reference number, okay, dated 31st January 2017. I wish to request that you suspend all recruitment activities for the 8,634 nurses and other health staff until further notice. The suspension is not a cancellation, but to allow the Ministry of Health to finalize all issues related to the financial clearance. Kindly take steps to inform all officers accordingly. You will be duly informed as soon as the final clearance is granted. And then there's a resumption of recruitment process for health professionals. Says, I write with reference to our letter, that's the number there, dated 10th of February on the suggestion of recruitment of health as officials. I can't see, it's professionals. Okay, the ministry has concluded discussions and procedures for the financial clearance. Is it financial?
Yes.
No, it's something here before the financial clearance covering 7,096 health workers. That's the breakdown. So all these approvals, so these people were approved. So they approved 7,096 out of 8,634. However, almost all of them got jobs after that. And so if this was done, the suspension was in February and they got an appointment in March, back in March. All right. So Musa Batwa from Asawasi says that, oh, somebody says I read your message halfway. If your message was good, I will read it halfway. So if you write and you add certain words to it, you know this is TV, so certain things are there I won't be able to read. Musa Batwa from Asawasi says the revocation of last-minute political appointment is absolutely in order. If these vacancies genuinely existed, why wait until losing an election before rushing to fill them? This practice is not only unethical, but also undermines the principles of good governance and accountability. The Constitutional Review Commission must take critical action to address this loophole by making provisions that prevent ongoing government from making opportunistic appointments that serve partisan rather than national interest. I'll do one, two. This one says, I want to know why he said I didn't read his message. Okay. I read it. Say, Rosalie, I'm surprised you read my message halfway without mentioning my name. Oh, Charles Echampo. I'm sorry, Charles. I have mentioned your name now. I hope you're okay. I'm sorry, Charles Echampo. It won't happen again. Anytime I read your message, I'll read. All right, I'll read this one. I haven't seen this number before, so I'll give. Oh, this is too long, unfortunately. Okay, I'll do this one. All right. Let me see. One job, three shifts, three people now turn to one job, one go home, resetting Ghana. Ampa, master planner from Kintampo. Okay, I'll do just one more. Tell the MPP man that what goes round comes round. They did it and nothing was wrong. But when done, one else does the same, it is wrong. Double standard. That's what sent you out of power. Just be quiet and allow NDC reset all the mess you have caused. MPP never again. And Sami Boachi from Asamankese says that the revocation of appointments seems unnecessary in Ghana's system, prompting me to question the NDC-led Mahama administration promotion of the 24-hour economy. What is the significance and feasibility of this idea? Does it not exacerbate unemployment in the system? Has the NDC made unemployment a cornerstone of their policy? If the Ghana Registered Nurses Association chooses to strike, it is within their constitutional right. We must strive for a fair system. Good morning. And this is from Honorable Protozua. Now, the names are very important. So when you send your messages, make sure you add your names to it. Oh, good morning to Honorable Protozua. So, he's Sami Boachi from Asamankese. And he says, good morning to Honorable Protozua. So, yes, Honorable Saib.
I think that we need to get the facts right. And I'm more excited about the one who shared with you the two letters.
The two letters, yeah.
From
the suspension and then the appointment, okay.
And the part that talked about the resumption.
Okay.
And he told you that the suspension was not a cancellation. They are not one and the same. Here we had about 15,200 and something. Let me check to get you the exact. And that was the financial clearance for the nurses to clear backlog. And like I intimated to you earlier, these were people who had sat home for a number of years just because a particular government came in and decided that, okay, we do not have the financial support to take care of nurses. It's a dangerous precedent. And if you look at like my senior brother said on the Osafo-Mafo statement, and I can tell you, and I'm confirming to you on authority that was never executed. It never went on, and so that cannot be the case. But when you have 15,000 nurses who have been given financial clearance, and there is a backlog, and then someone comes in to say that, oh, I have promised you jobs. I have even advertised or campaigned on a 24-hour economy. I've campaigned on the fact that, oh, in 2017, 2018, on my Facebook, whatever account, and my Twitter or whatever account, I'd indicated that these are Ghanaians, and so they should be given the opportunity to work. Somebody gets financial clearance, and this is it. It's here. It says that nurses' financial clearance of 15,200 by the Ministry of Finance to facilitate recruitment. Appointment letters to the effect were given. The current Minister of Health even admits that the clearance ends 31st December. And we all know, and all of us being a member of Parliament, he understands that not until your financial clearance elapses or expires, it is active. So if the process is to get the right people, right, to go and occupy certain positions as nurses, we go through the process. And then they have been issued letters as nurses, and you come. And you say that, oh, 15,200 young men and women should go back home because I have now taken over office. It's arbitrary. It's discriminatory. It's painful. It doesn't show the Ghana we're all looking for. Listen, I have been very honest with my politics that it matters not. If MPP did that, and that's why I requested from my senior brother to finish me with those, I would sit here and condemn it. Because you know what we are doing? Tomorrow, if you become Minister of Employment or the President of the Republic, which obviously I'll campaign for you, do you know what it means? It means that, oh, because Jerry was Minister of Employment or then the President, whatever decisions and actions Jerry took, that decision or action should cease forthwith. Hey, where are we going? Where are we going? If you want to look at the law, it is just terrible. I don't know where they are going to survive. And me, there's no way I would get any brother or sister to sit at home and not to take this matter to court. Go, you make money. And if it is money we want to lose, we'll lose it because people will go to court and they will get judgments in their favor. What is it that people have qualified to get jobs? And somebody sits somewhere and takes a pen and says that, oh, for having gone through all the processes, including probation, I've come to terminate it because, oh, you were supposed to have been given a letter about 3 years ago. When did you get a financial clearance?
I think all these could have been prevented if it was done within a certain time frame. And we do agree with that, right? That all these could have been prevented where we won't see what we are seeing. Because it seems as though almost every time we see a new government, everybody wants to have show of power. And so the person wants, or that government wants to prove to the supporters that we can do it. And so if you did it, then we feel it's your people you have put there, so we are going to take them out. This could have been prevented easily. How? Do the appointments before a certain time so nobody can come in and
so Honorable then again understands how budget works. If you have not been able to get the financial clearance, you can't do it.
So you don't recruit it.
But so how did they recruit? Because they got both financial and technical clearance.
Where?
And you could get it at a certain point in time when you are sure that, oh, now you have the money to do so.
And that came just before elections?
That is what I'm telling you. This financial clearance for the nurses in particular, it did not come just before elections.
When did it come?
At least I know about 6 or 7 months ago.
Is it?
It came 7 months ago.
Yes.
And they were not employed.
Don't you go through advertisements?
Oh, but you and I know how
you go through advertisements. No, this is why I am telling you. You see, that is why we should be careful not to get the waters muddy. Because you see, people also want to do things professionally. If you know, for instance, Okoboy, I was not able to get a 2021 person sorted. In fact, I do not know, and even if, for instance, you recommended someone, I wouldn't know your party colors. I wouldn't. If assuming without admitting that even 15,200 people were all MPP people, are they not Ghanaians? But I know for a fact that even there is a possibility about 70% of them may not even be MPP.
All right.
So what are we doing?
First of all,
right, let me go to
as we talked this morning, no nurse or teacher's appointment has been revoked.
Not yet.
Well, we are giving you notice.
Oh, no. Shaibu.
We are giving you notice.
So you don't make it look as if it has been revoked. No one has revoked any nurse appointment on it.
Not yet.
Not yet. They were asked to submit statistics on it. Let's get this thing. And I told you, you need that thing. You need a statistical data on employment to know exactly where we are going. When we know that national service payroll has been bloated over 81,000 ghost names, and in all sectors. So,
did you say you know for a fact?
Per the information that...
No, I think that is early days said. We should be careful.
No, please.
I don't like interjecting. I think it's quite rude. But I needed you to know.
Honorable.
What I'm saying is that what we are all talking about, the information we have now.
Yes.
And that information tells us, unless it's disputed...
So it's alleged that...
Yes, unless it's disputed. Unless it's disputed.
But it's an allegation.
Because some of these issues were brought up by the fourth estate, what's the name and so on. They did the investigation. I'm coming. First of all, let's get that. Secondly, we are talking about recruitment that were done after you presented your budget. Was there a financial clearance for that? No. What you did was in bad faith because you knew you had lost the elections. And you were...
Honorable, please relax.
And you were going to hand over. So you don't rush to already pack the system in an already exacerbated system that we're having because all the institutions were choked with people they had employed. We're not talking about due process. Look, if you apply to maybe nursing and so on, you don't get, that's why I use the word overnight and then you are saying they were not recruiting the night. But within that short period, you cannot do that to recruit nurses. Sometimes you may even have to check their grades. Check whether they had it. That's why sometimes after they recruit some people, it can be withdrawn because they presented false certificates and so on. What we are doing is to ensure that these ghost names that go into it, despite we are using our Ghana card, still we have challenges with this, that it has not occurred. What do you think a government will be? When you come, employment has been done between the time an incumbent parliament lost power in that time. Don't you need to check? Don't you not need to ask them to present all those people for you to cross-check? It is afterwards, when something untoward is done, then you can say that, no, this is unnecessary because they've been recruited through due process. Have we seen their files? Have they gone through that? Let's get these things clear and don't let us jump the gun and make it look as if a nurse's appointment has been revoked. They are going to court. We are going to court on what do you have? What are you going to tell the court? It looks like
well, like you said, they haven't revoked the appointment.
Any appointment, you understand.
But if it should happen, then of course people are going to come for
I
you,
don't
the
even
NDC,
think
because they are
because
setting a certain precedent. Because no government is going to stay in power forever. We know that for sure.
Rosalind, I don't even think that way because in the issue of nurses and teachers, we actually need them. Once they are qualified, whether backlog or not, we need them. When we go to the security agencies, it's the same thing.
So you don't think for them, this will affect them?
I don't think. We need to just get the data on them. Has it been done? What is the financial clearance? What is that going to impact on our already, what do you call it, salaries and then emoluments and so. We must get this so that while we are doing this, you can be able to mobilize proper revenue and ensure. That's why we are saying that we must audit every institution, auditing including human resource auditing and so on. So if we are asking them
at this point, we wish that communique was clear because from what the chief of staff communicated.
What did the chief of staff say?
Of course, he said
He
all
said
appointments.
that yes.
All.
Yes, they
all,
should submit
all.
it. Yes. They should submit it because they are evaluating.
So then the nurses, the nurses
yes,
have the right to actually, come out and say that if you touch us, this is what we'll do. Because
I don't
you
want
didn't
to
say
go
that
into that statement by the
except-
nurses president, because if I want to go, they will distort the momentum. Because there are other things the nurses should have gone on strike. They didn't go. Nurses take care of us in the hospital. When Galamsey was destroying us, when people who were giving births, children, mothers, were being destroyed, where were the nurses? That's why I don't want us to go there. Where were the nurses? When a lot of things, when infrastructure has stalled, when even basic equipment, medicine, dialysis, you name them, they could not get enough. When a lot that they could have threatened to go on strike, they did not. So I don't want us to distort the momentum. We are looking at what the important thing that my brother and I are discussing this morning. But if you want to go there, I'll take them on. People were killed in this country.
Okay.
Through a lot of
Let me go
issues.
to Honorable Shah.
There were no basic consumables at the hospitals. People go and even paracetamol, they had to go and buy and order essential
But this is their job
drugs.
we're also talking about. This is their job.
Yes. So what is their job in employment? Do they employ themselves?
Anyway.
So I don't want us to go there. So let them be there. Then let us concentrate on this and move forward. But for what they are threatening who?
Okay. Let me go to Honorable Shah.
Rosalind, just to let my brother calm down some more and to understand that they have the rights to do so, which is well captured in the Constitution. When you look at Article 17,
I don't want to.
18.
They have a right. It's
First of all, I've had conversations. So I was just checking. The last time I had a conversation with Honorable Dr. Okubwe, as he then was the Minister of Health. And that was around August. And I'm trying to get you to see if you are able to even get any copy of the clearance letters. I haven't sent him a message, but I'm sure if he gets to know you, if you get to see a copy of the clearance letter, you would understand that
I just want to clearance from the Finance Ministry.
Yes,
or from where?
From the Finance Ministry for the recruitment of the 15,200 nurses. Okay. So it did not start today. This point I just want to lay emphasis on. Second, I also want us to believe that as Ghanaians, we should believe governance is a continuum and that structures should be well put in place, irrespective of who comes in. So it wouldn't matter whether it's my honorable member here, who is now the president, or what matters is that the Ghanaian people should feel protected, irrespective of who comes into power. If you have the requisite qualification, with the wherewithal, you should be placed at the place that you think you are qualified to be there. Now, I'll give you two examples. One, I think you mentioned it, our Auditor General, Domolevo. And what about the Shraj woman? I remember.
Shraj man.
No, the woman, the Shraj, President Mama appointed a lady to take charge of Shraj when President Mama was actually existing.
No, it was a guy.
No, it was a woman. I remember because I think something Lamptey.
No,
I don't know.
Lamptey was before, but the current Shraj was. I know it because he's a brother and I've worked there before.
Okay, but there was a certain.
It was Domlovo, Shraj, the current boss, Joe Whittal.
So this is it. Assuming that it is Joe Whittal. Did anybody say to President Mama you couldn't have appointed a man? Because within the capacity of President Mama in the in the Constitution, it's because you also said that, and you kept mentioning Osafo Mafo's children. Why? So if you are Osafo Mafo's son or daughter, you cannot
go into that's not
if you are no. As we speak here, as we sit here, I'm very much aware of some other ministers who had their wives and family members working in MPP's government. They are still working. If you go to the same NCA...
They said there was no employment. Some people said there was no employment.
And they are in directorship positions. Which obviously one could have said, because you are on the Minister of Employment. Very calm, nice gentleman. His wife, I am told that she's still working at the National Communications Authority, where now some judge finds the need to come and remove someone and tell me whatever kind of... We should be careful. We should be careful. We should be careful not to even be seen as...
Don't you think that, again, I'll say this, it's both political parties?
So
I like the fact that you said we should get to the level where we as Ghanaians know that government is a continuum, and so we should, as citizens and politicians, have the situation where if you come to power, you are not revocating anybody's appointment just because you feel, oh, this person belongs to a certain political party.
So
maybe we should get to that level, right?
If you go to the extent of thinking that you are in power and you want to revoke people's appointments,
so when there's
are we going to ever say that we are going to progress as a country? Are we always going to say, okay, so I'm in power, I come, and you are the number one anchor person here, and because you support a certain party, and maybe it's the company's policy not to support that party, I should come and revoke, and if you have all the capacity...
That's what the political parties are doing.
No! And I've even given you, I've insisted that in our case, you read the letters. We've seen over the period, the Osafo Manfo's matter that arose during vetting was condemned. It did not get to, what's it called? During the president's cabinet meeting, it was condemned.
He said it was not quietly, listen to the language, they will quietly lay them off. So you won't know.
No. So that's why I'm asked for. Listen, as a practitioner, what I need to know is that, do you have any evidence to the effect that this happened truly? I'm telling you that it was condemned. It never materialized.
So you know that the Member of Parliament for Sagnarigu, Issa Atta, actually did say that his appointment at the BOD was actually revoked in 2017.
A lot. But
I do not know.
Okay, so he did say this, and I can actually read what he said. He said this on Good Morning Ghana on Friday, February 14, 2025. He said that his position began in April 2016 under the previous NDC administration. He explained that he was interviewed, underwent medical... Oh, sorry, the internet is... Underwent medical examination and was subsequently informed that he had secured the job. However, 3 months into his employment, the changing government led to the appointment of a new governor of Bank of Ghana, and he, along with others, were told to hold on. The processes started in April 2016. I was called for interview. I went through medicals. Then we are told that we should start. So 3 months into the start of work. So he did start work. It wasn't that he never started. He started 3 months. There was change of government, and immediately they appointed a new governor. Were told to hold on. Were held for 8 years. So he never went back to work. His appointment was revoked.
Even there is replete. There's many. But
so what step did he take?
Oh, so he says that anytime I'm confronted with a topic like, okay, he's kept on talking about...
Yes, like we're discussing this morning.
So, you know, I mean, what appointments? In Ghana here, somebody will say that go to court, but when they go to court, so some people will choose not to go to court.
Well, it would be very wrong for them
but it was done. It was done. His appointment was revoked.
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Okay, so this is actually a member of parliament, though.
Well, and I'm sure I would engage him.
Yes, please, sir.
And find out why.
Yeah.
See, there should also be very careful nature of dealing with this matter. There could be one-on-one issues that could even have different views and different reasons. So if his appointment was revoked, for me, and like he said, if you're a chief executive and you have decided to stay on, and against the backdrop that when President Mahama was coming, you campaigned against him, and you still found the need to sit there, that's your matter. If I were President Mahama, I would take you on. That is clear. But you see, that is not the same as a director, a deputy director, a deputy chief executive who may be technical, who may be whatever tag, but the person is not a very political person. And then you come in and you want to revoke those appointments. I do not think it is okay. And let us understand that the Constitution supports us in dealing with this matter comprehensively. So all those who have been whose appointments have been revoked or who are being threatened, I think they should find means to go to court and state their positions clearly. And I believe that they are going to get whatever they want. My advice to the government of the day is that, you see, in order not to get yourself into a lot of judgment debts, please be also very mindful and careful as to how you take these steps. It cannot be general, it cannot be comprehensive. It can be issues that you know that, oh, Honorable was once seen on political platforms campaigning against me. How is Honorable going to help me with my reset agenda? You understand?
Okay.
So that in itself is a practical example, and therefore, when you have steps, it should be done with due process. It cannot be done arbitrarily.
Okay, let me go
there are some institutions that the Constitution even protects them and guarantees them because their creation is not by an act of Parliament, but they were actually mentioned in the Constitution. Such institutions, if you want to remove them, it goes with cost. And sometimes what they do is to negotiate with the fellow because...
Like you did with SIC.
It's not like we did with SIC. We did it to the governor of the Bank of Ghana. He knew that they couldn't remove the Bank of Ghana. What did they do to Nashiru? And Asiama came. Even in Asiama's case, he was told that the president said he couldn't. They just told him blanked. The president said he won't work, he can't work with you. The Minister for Finance at the time, and so on. So they are there. Those are constitutional bodies. Common Fund is constitutionally established. So if you want to remove the CEO for Common Fund, you negotiate within the number of years, and then you pay them off. Like NATO, she came and met the other one. And when it came to the Controller and Accountant General, you know what they did? When they removed, that's why he continued to act. The guy said no. He will not go. So what they did was that they went and found a table for him at the Ministry of Finance. They didn't take his Land Cruisers away. He was there with his bodyguard. And they had an acting controller and accountant. Guys, I'm now up to 60. You can't remove me. So when they said they should negotiate, they said no. So he was there. They were paying the controller and paying him. We can go on with searches and on and on. But you see, Shaibu must accept that these things has been there. But it was exacerbated during the Nanado Bawumia period. Take it or leave it. Check the history from Rawlings, Kufuor, Mills, to even Mahama. They were there, like he said. Yes, you can remove them, but there are some people who have gone through the ranks. You just cannot remove someone who has risen through the rank. If you read the Supreme Court case on the removal of this, it clearly was talking about those who would have gone through the ranks as civil servants, not the political appointed people. Like he put it, if I was campaigning 24-hour economy, and you say it has never happened anywhere in the world, and the 24-hour economy man asks, how you want to implement it when you're still the secretary for that institution? So you better bow out. But I think the whole of this conversation is premised on junior workers, if I may put them, like the nurses, the teachers, and other officers. Look, I can tell you this morning that there are some state institutions in the energy sector, in the road sector, that the recruitments were badly done and backdated. I've had conversation with officers who were there, and they've told me that I can't put it on TV and so on, that were badly done. And they were rushing, giving the letters and so on. It's in bad faith. When you do this, you are not...
Personally, I just need you to caution my senior brother that, you see, some of these things are allegations. And when we are on national TV, they are. Honorable, you see, you have not been able to say that, this was badly done. Look at it. It's Shaib.
What? Shaib. Now listen to me. What you have said on this morning, I am telling you that we have relatives who have been under this. Do you know that? You have relatives too.
Yes.
Who have gone through this.
So, like
we all have our
this
people.
morning, we've been able to show that, one member of parliament, this is what he went through at Bank of Ghana, and this is from the horse's own mouth. Like you said, you'll be able to have a conversation with him to get to the bottom of it. And so these things, for us as Ghanaians, we wish that this will not happen under any government. We wish that, if yes, like you said, if it's the bosses you are touching, that's fine. But the ordinary...
And if you are touching the bosses, the bosses are those ones that they have shown their hands in politics.
I've not...
Properly so-called.
Yeah, exactly.
I am an MPP person. Yes. I'm a chief executive.
I understand.
My party...
I'm just saying that we are making our country too political to the extent that if somebody is just a layman, the person will have to pay for it. I'll read a few...
Currently this morning...
Let me read my messages. Why are you reading it for me? Let me read my messages. I know. I'm not going to read it. You let me leave that one out. Thanks to my boss, Honorable Shai, for helping unemployed nurses in Wajak Bawe to gain employment. God bless him more.
They are saying they want to sack you people. They are saying President Mama and Honorable...
They want to sandwich people.
Okay.
They want to
Timothy Anabela says Ghanaians demand justice. Mohammed's accountability drive must not be compromised.
To know the number of people
Mohammed's commitment
employed.
to accountability is a breath of fresh air in Ghanaian politics. By pledging to hold both NPP and NDC officials accountable for corruption, Mohammed is sending a strong message that no one is above the law. It's indeed surprising that Afenyo Markin and the NPP are trying to compromise this effort. Instead of attempting to undermine Mohammed's accountability drive, they should focus on providing credible evidence to support their claims of corruption within the NDC. Ghanaians deserve justice, not concocted allegations or political smear campaigns. The Godfred Dame versus Atofose and Jakpa saga is a perfect example of how not to pursue accountability. Ghanaians demand nothing but transparency, accountability, and justice. Timothy Anabella from Bechem. Eliasu Ayawin says, that's the bitter truth. Now it's out of hands. Travelers are now killed every day in Northeast region. Why should that happen? Why should that happen? That's a question we are asking. We are hoping that there'll be a stop to it. Negos, Decipher says, no one is against curfew, but we are against the selective justice they're exercising. When people have been attacking buses along the Bolga-Boku Road, even under military escort, but not a single day has curfew been imposed on people around those areas. So why Walewale? The government should know that all that is going on in Walewale serves as retaliation to what the Kusasis are doing along the Bolga-Boku Highway. So if the government needs solution, it should rather work on the Bolga-Boku Road so that people can use it without any fear of their lives. Musa Abato says, as a layman, I see nothing wrong with the OSP classifying former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta as a fugitive and wanted. From the conversations by many legal experts, it's clear that the OSP exhausted all legal processes, yet the suspect appears to be avoiding accountability. If someone refuses to submit to due process, it's only right to declare him as such. No one is above the law, and accountability must be upheld for the sake of justice and transparency. Anthony Derry says, good morning, my sister Roslyn. Please, is that Honorable Shaib Waja MP? Can he apologize for what happened in Parliament during the vetting? Don't worry, after the show, we'll talk about that. And then goes to Decipher. Walewale has been biasly treated and justice must be given to them. That selective justice must be stopped. Moma, the Stone Power, says, please, my former MP, do you know the number of people died on the Binduru, Pusigagaru and Pomakom Road? But curfew were never imposed. Stop police in chieftaincy matter. The Boko issued is beyond politics. We never spoke about chieftaincy. Moma, we never spoke about it, okay? Prissy Alban says, Honorable Jerry Meshaibu, thank you, boss. We are proud of you. Adam Abdul Rahaman Nindu says, see who is talking about the... all right, so let's go to what's up. Blessed morning, Roslyn. Please, is the NPP man not the new MP who was one of the people who engineered the havoc in Parliament? Hey, Honorable Shaib, today, if you don't talk to my people... well, before the show ends, yes. Good morning, Joy Prime and Honorable Shaib. This is Abdul Ganiu Mankarigu from Savannah region. For the avoidance of doubt, the Ministry of Health and the President Akufo-Addo did not dismiss health workers recruited by NDC government in 2016 after losing elections. The process was only suspended for a few checks and the ministry resumed recruiting them, and the evidence is here, all right? So good morning, Rosé. I like that you call me Rosé. Please tell MPP man that to know what brought them so low. If they continue this way, next election, your party will exit no more. From Emmanuel. Good morning, Joy Prime. In as much as I disagree with the revocation of last-minute appointment, I also disagree with the NPP posture on this matter. What does the law say about preparation of handing over notes of government institutions before every election cycle? The more NPP speaks and reacts this way, the more we lose confidence in them and the more angry to vote against them in any future elections. Abbas Haruna Kumawu Zongo. Good morning to you. Ghana needs to focus on diversifying its economy. Currently, the country relies heavily on exports of commodities such as gold, cocoa, and oil. By diversifying its economy and investing in sectors such as manufacturing, technology, and services, Ghana can reduce its reliance on volatile commodity prices and build a more resilient economy. Aaron Bebako Kokomisa. Good morning, Joy Prime. Well done to Timothy for his dedication, service to the people of Ghana. We are waiting patiently for his ambassadorial appointment in the Middle East. Best wishes. Somebody says they want you to go to the Middle East to go and be an ambassador.
I want the Middle East anyway, but I'm not looking for ambassadorial position. I've been telling people that my interest is not an ambassador for now.
Okay.
You're going to come back to Paris.
The honorable...
Not even that. Normally, you need to prepare before you take these things.
Okay.
You need to get yourself home prepared before. You cannot just get up and travel. And
all right. The honorable...
And I would one day, Middle East, I don't know why.
How the person knows that the person likes you. Honorable MP should be honest to us, the viewers. We have he ever criticized their finance minister for the wrong he was doing to Ghanaians? Abdul Martin Kumbugu.
What does that got to do with me?
This one is pure. Okay, good morning. When I listen to our politicians and party supporters, we are not truthful. When one party is wrong, a member of the party will not condemn it, but argue to paint it good. Why should NPP pretend to employ people after they lost votes? Ghana is lost. Pretenders. We don't admit wrong. Okay, why the NPP man talking about? What is he talking about? All right, please be faithful to yourself. Let's condemn it. All government recruitment, you have to pay bribe. Why, Ghanaians? All right, you don't have proof to this. I don't know if you do pay bribe, unless you can show me proof. That's different. All right, but if you can't, but we still need proof. Unfortunately, that's how it works. All right, so I'll read the last message, and I'm done with these. Good morning, Madam Host. My sincere greetings to Honorable Ahmed. He has fantastic. As first-time MP, his work is extraordinary. Anyway, when did NDC realize that this war should not be politics when it's happening in 2024? They said Dr. Alhaji Baumia is the one angering it. What has changed from Kwekuba Jr., Manso Mem? All right, so this is all that we can read for now. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always making sure that they give us the opportunity to bring you the news flash segment. Whatever gadgets you are looking for, just make sure that you go to Franco Trading Enterprise for that. Honorable, I'll give you just 1 minute to make
1 minute. 1 minute. That those saying that we promised 24 hours, they've forgotten that we have just been in power less than 2 months. So they just think that we have been in power for the past 4 years. But they can be assured that a veritable fellow like Guzitano is in charge of that program. We are going to ensure that the policy that is leading to the full implementation of the 24-hour economy is done. A secretariat is being set, the necessary people and consultations are being done. The public will know what we are doing when the teething issues are crossed and then eliminated. So for me, they should still have hope. It's early days yet. We are going to, the criticisms are good in any case, because they help shape where you are going, so that you do not repeat mistakes that are absolutely unnecessary as we move forward. So for me, they should continue to have the hope that they had and voted for us. We are with them.
All right. Honorable Shai.
Still on the recruitment, the revocation issue. Well, I still think that we should tread cautiously. We should hasten slowly. Each and every person who finds himself in some sort of employment is a Ghanaian. And having listened to President Mahama in 2017, I believe that he would not want to do anything untoward to a Ghanaian, including those who have duly and properly been given jobs. Assuming, without admitting, that we are even taking 15,200 people off the labor market as nurses and midwives. That is humongous. That is a problem that you are going. The ripple effect is not going to be easy. I think people should just move away. We politicians especially should move away from the usual, I am now in power, so I will undo things that A or B or C did. We should just be more careful and think about the Ghanaian people and put in structures. Irrespective of whoever is in power, it has to be the right structures. The right people should be employed. The right environment should be provided so that we live and progress as Ghanaians.
Right.
I think we should do that. Really.
All right, talking about that, I wanted to actually take a look at what we did on Friday right here on Joy Prime with regards to the free SHS. You know, the NPP implemented free SHS. There are so many beneficiaries out of it, but there were a few loopholes in there where the NDC campaigned and said that if voted into power, they'll make sure they do things better. And so there was a dialogue that we had right here on Joy Prime. And out of that dialogue, we saw or we heard certain things. I think we have a video. Okay, so let me just take you to some of the key discussions and observations that were made. There was the depoliticization of education that came up. There was enrollment versus quality. There was financial burden on government. There was thematic areas for benchmarking education, which I'm very, very excited about that one, because out of that, we got to know that it should be more accessible, the quality should be top-notch, and it should be very relevant. There was investment versus expenditure. How are we getting the money and how are we spending that money? Financial sustainability and alternative funding. Then there was a double track system that also came up. Now, the double track system was instrumental in ensuring access for all students, irrespective of their background. However, the concerns remain regarding its impact on the quality of education. So that also came up. There was a means testing approach. There was an access for all. And just take a look at what transpired on Friday.
Enrollment in senior high schools has jumped from 25.7% in 2016 to 56.3%, but funding and infrastructure struggle to keep up.
Access is key, quality is key, and also the impact on our socio-economic transformation is also very key.
Basic education level has received relatively lower attention from the government by way of resource commitment and support due to the heavily demand of the senior high education.
Concerns include food shortage, teacher workload, and financing. Experts suggest parents' contribution and restructuring gets fund.
There has been concerns about the quality being produced, the efficiency, the equity, and of course, the sustainability of the program.
People are willing to pay. Let them go and pay to go there and then use it. It's voluntary. You don't need to. And they use the money to help with the others. So if you want to go to the A, those parents who want their children to go to Wegehe, as for us, it's Wegehe, you pay your 20,000.
We must sit up and accept some cost sharing somewhere.
If people get access to free tuition, then they get access to free other things. And particularly, the boarding system has put a lot of strain on the economy.
Stakeholders emphasize the need for curriculum improvement and modern infrastructure to support growing enrollment.
We need to do these longitudinal studies so that by the time that they are exiting the junior high school to the senior high school, we know exactly the program that is fit for them.
Teachers must learn to teach class in such a way that different people with different abilities will be able to benefit from the class.
That was the essence of the NST, so that the student is tracked from basic 3, basic 6, and then when he gets to basic 8, that gives you an idea the various abilities of the student, and then you have a more informed way to direct the student which direction that he should go.
We are expecting a significant increase, not only on access, but we are also expecting that quality will also be enhanced. And the final expectation is that when access marries quality, that is where we have an impact on the socio-economic transformation.
Free SHS has reshaped Ghana's education, but sustaining it requires innovation and shared responsibility, where strategic reforms, collaboration, and commitment from all stakeholders, the policy can continue to empower future generations. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Accra.
Right, and so this is what happened on Friday, which I think is a very, very important forum. So if you missed out on it, it's still on YouTube, and you can take a look at it and listen to it very, very well. And let's see how we can all come on board to fix the issues with regards to the free SHS. Honorable Timothy Awantri-Matabwade has been in the education sector for a very long time, and I know he's very passionate about the education sector. And for you, you campaign. Yes, he's a teacher.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yes. Okay. And you campaigned on the promise that you were going to make free SHS better. One of the main things that I'm very excited about is the thematic areas for benchmarking education, which, if well taken care of, the access of it, the quality and relevance as well. And you've listened to bits and pieces of the dialogue. What's your opinion on it?
I think a very short one, like we rightly put it. In fact, we have to look at the challenges of the free HSL. Good policy, but the implementation faced a lot of challenges. And I've often said that, look, if managers of these policies were allowed to ventilate their perception about the challenges confronting, we would have had a very well-tested and very good policy by now. Would have eliminated the challenges and had quality. And I've often talked about quality, not the quantities and the numbers. That explains why our brothers in the MPP were using the numbers rather than the quality and so on. We all have children who have attended the free HSS and so on. So there's an educational dialogue that has been proposed by the government in relation to our promise to do it better. And I've seen a lot of educational CSOs and individuals who have equally talked about the fact that, and even lecturers at the various universities, talked about quality and so on. So when we go to that forum, we are going to engage the people of this country. Parliament will be part because the educational committee and so on, so that we see the way forward. We know that a lot of our students, when they had accommodation problem, infrastructure. I teach, as I talked to you this morning, so I know what is there and I know what the students face. So we would want to gather information from even teachers, from students like you have taken the lead to do. It is good we glean it. But I was completely taken aback when the PR for education, Kwame Kwarteng or something, said that we're talking about free education. We should send the students to Kempiski to go and eat. Were we the ones complaining, or the students? Our children were complaining. And is that not true that PTA people, so that the whole PR of education can say that now we are in power, send the children to Kempiski or the other one? What is the other 5-star hotel?
Movenpick.
Movenpick. Send them there to go and eat. What are you telling them?
Do we even have a 5-star hotel in Ghana? I don't think.
But these are among the best also. I think initially they were 5 stars.
It looks like Wesley enjoys 5 stars.
I know 5-star hotels. We don't have any in
La Beach was 5 stars.
It's not anymore.
It's no more.
I've just told you that she enjoys 5-star hotels.
So for me, I think such utterances are not helpful. As if you are rivaling with us. But these are our children. This is our future and so on. And it wasn't NDC that was saying it. Even parent-teacher associations were asked to contribute.
Right now you are in power.
So
what are you going to do?
That is why we are conveying we said it, we're going to maintain it and do it better. Because every policy you must continue to review until you get to the best of it and so on. So what we are going to do is to have the forum to discuss the
We have started the forum.
It's good. That's why I'm saying that we would even glean from your forum and remove what we are supposed to add on to. And I know some of these people will go to the forum and so on because they are high-quality people and so on.
Great. All right.
So I think that at the end of the day, let's have a policy that we are not only looking at the quantities, but the quality, such a way that our students, wherever they are found globally, they can be able to withstand the fronts and smiles of any academic institutions that they find themselves.
Great. Honorable Shaib.
So, I do not know how much time you have, but...
Probably like 2 minutes.
Oh, just on the free SHS?
Yes, just on the free SHS.
Okay. All right. So, first of all, I think that we all need to commend the initiator of this
Joy Prime
policy.
The policy. The forum. I was going to take credit for the forum.
No, it's okay. We need to commend the initiator of the policy because what the policy has done is to help a lot. See, I've never seen a baby that was born and started walking. In every aspect of our life, we start somewhere. So I won't come and sit here and say that the free SHS is 100 proof. the best without issues. Obviously, there are issues. There are issues. When you're doing your own construction, you go and then the next day you find something wrong you want to change. So there I come in to say that Joy Prime has done well by also setting the pace of getting this conversation ongoing. I just hope and believe that it wouldn't be, and with all due deference to Joy Prime, it wouldn't be an agenda-setting network, that people would be talking about it, and then the next thing you know, there will be all manner of excuses, and then the next thing you know, oh, free SHS is going. I'm beginning to hear. Obviously, I've already heard about BEC being cancelled, so that, not cancelled as in the payment, where the government used to take the taps on those who are going to write BEC. First of all, you should know that those who even get through to BEC, they come through to SHS. Okay. So if you are saying that, oh, I'm not going to support you to do BEC by paying for your examination fees, that in itself is a problem. Listen, we live in a land or in a country where people are genuinely or honestly going through abject poverty.
That news was fake, the issue of paying off.
Oh, then I'm excited about it.
It was a fake one?
And coming from you...
Okay.
Well,
okay,
so coming from you, one of my mentors is Honorable Aruna.
Even the budget would show.
Yeah, okay.
And he's one person I would love to have this conversation with, except that, you see, because he's a minister now, he doesn't spend too much time.
Dr. Park is there.
Yes, so I'm sure he told you his mind. And funny enough, I have a very good relationship with all of them.
You know the three of us were made, so.
Oh, I see.
I packed myself and Haruna.
Oh, I see. Nice. So, for me, the starting point is that if BEC is intact, that is a good thing to deal with. Now, the second part is that now the conversation is going down to, we are going to look at tuition. We are going to look at dormitory. We are going to look at feeding. If you look at these indices one by one, you now come to your thematic areas: access, quality, and relevance. What is the access like? People with all manner of socioeconomic background now find themselves in school, which is critical, which hitherto would not have been the situation. So the access is in a manner that from morning, afternoon, evening, you wouldn't see a lot of criminal activities being peddled. Why? Or being executed. Why? Because people are busy in schools, getting to do...
Don't go there. Don't go there.
It's the truth. I'm not saying...
Well, for now, I think that the most important thing is that out of this forum, we want to see a better, because like you said, it's a good initiative, which we have always applauded the initiative. Nobody is ever going to say that this initiative was a bad thing. It was a good one. However, the flaws that were, spotted, like you said, again, nobody has a baby and the baby just gets up and walk. We'll definitely see these
some babies
flaws.
Get up and walk.
So definitely these flaws, we're seeing. I believe if the NPP had retained power, you would have fixed the problem. But since you didn't retain power and it's the new government, we here, it's not an agenda. We just want to make sure that we hold them by their words. If they say they are going to make it better, we also have to support to make it better.
And that is why I commend Joy Prime that let us be more mindful that people will not think that it will be a platform for excuses. Because as we speak, there has been a whole committee that has been set up. My view, which may not be
the committee set up for what?
For review of education.
Okay, yeah, yes. okay.
By the president. And we've had several committees being set up.
Yeah.
And this is the conversation by most minority, in fact, by the minority caucus, that these committees are being set up just to delay how well we can go ahead to execute some of the things we came in and promised, as in the NDC. So the conversation should be that, well, if we are looking at your three thematic areas, which I very much applaud, access, important. How can people have access? We've had issues of people saying the shift, what's it called, the system,
the double track.
The double track system. It's a problem. How do you see it as a problem?
Yeah.
And how do
So that's why the forum was held. And we are hoping that, it gets...
I've read your report, and I feel that, yes, it also looks like some of those who commented on
I've also decided on what they think is okay already without doing further engagement.
All right, let's see what the future holds, though. And a very big thank you to you, gentlemen, for making time to spend with us this morning.
But I need to make a comment before I leave.
What do you want to say?
Exactly because of...
Oh, yes, the messages that came.
I think it's very critical. In fact, I think it's Brenda that invited me.
Yeah.
I really considered before coming because I've been very sad and upset with reference to what transpired in Parliament. I think it's regrettable, I think it's unfortunate. But I also think people have done so much propaganda in politics with it. I'm very hurt with him. And, it took my wife and very caring people, including my mother and constituents, to get me on this level. This is because, as I sit here, I'm not a violent person. And I will not be. First of all, anybody who watched critically what happened on the floor of Parliament will tell you, unless the person wants to be a propagandist, that I never committed to doing anything physical. I had 3 to 4 men, NDC men, who were on the other side. I found myself in between 2 tables. One of the guys who forcefully pushed the table at me was Charles Asedu. And people will see, and when you get the video, you will see. And I was standing, and this was me. I am a man. I don't think that I, first of all, want to be injured. So all I did was to push the table back too. And if you watch, you will see those who raised the table. And it's been so bad that I've not been given a hearing at the stage when decisions were taken. And I feel very hurt. I do. Against the backdrop that I went to even talk to the nominee who was supposed to have been vetted on the said date, Honorable Akando. A very calm, nice person as well. Had a conversation.
So you had a conversation with him?
Yes, I did. And when I went to stand by him, I did so because I realized that this was getting hotter.
So what did you tell him?
So I told him, Honorable, I think it's better to talk to my leader, the respected Afenyo Makin, and the chair, to see if we really could reschedule to tomorrow. Because we are tired, and it was 9:58 p.m. First of all, let us also be mindful of the fact that before we come to do vetting, at all times, just like going into the floor, my Honorable will tell you, there is what we call a conclave, where the speaker or whoever is presiding gets into a meeting with leadership. Just the same thing happened with the vetting. There was a conclave the day before, in fact, the night before, and then the morning of the incident. And that we had agreed that we were going to vet 3 people. I remember Honorable Mutala, I remember Honorable Sam George, and then I think the employment minister. So this was what we had agreed to do. When we finished, we realized that, the majority had come with a certain proposal that, please, could we still consider Honorable Kofi Adams? I'm a sports person. I'm the president of Ghana Weightlifting Federation. So I also had my weak points. So I also discussed so please, since we still have some time.
So you agreed on Kofi
So
Adams.
we agreed on.
And you didn't agree on the other 2.
And then we even subsequently agreed on Honorable Nikpe. I did my national service in Saboba. Okay. I know the chiefs, the traditional leaders, and I'd seen them about a day or 2. So let me just make this point. Okay. About a day or 2. And I felt that, there was the need to also take them. In fact, their interview the vetting was not even 30 minutes. And we finished that. You are looking at 2 major ministries, cabinet ministries, health and finance. And all we did was to say that, listen, let's come the next day, because it was the whole day. All I'd had was Kofi Brookman, 1. And anytime we stood up to even have a break, they brought reports into the chamber for the approval of ministers who...
So, Honorable, in a nutshell, you were wrongfully accused.
And I feel very sad about it. I feel very pained, and I'm serious about it.
Right.
That why would people unless people just want to do propaganda and decided to use a certain portion of a video where they only saw me pushing back. But there was no time. If you watch the video clearly, I was one person who was going around to try and pipe people down. And it's sad.
So it's sad. We are hoping that, out of this, the truth will come out, definitely.
We hope so.
Don't worry, everything will be fine.
I'm okay.
And thank you so much for gathering the strength to come on Joy Prime this morning. We are grateful. All right, and that's Honorable Shaib. He is the Member of Parliament for Weijak Bawe constituency. And of course, we had also Honorable Timothy Awontim Atabuade, who represented the NDC this morning.
It's going to the
Thank you
Middle
all
East.
so much.
Who is going there?
We have to take a break on this note.